Hi, we are the Morans.
And we are here to get baptized.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your life before Christ.
Life before Christ was scattered. I had grown up knowing about Christ through my parents had taught me about Christ, and as well as my grandma, but I had was never really the person to kind of take people's word for it. I was always the one that wanted to find things out myself. So I started going to church myself and seeing and understanding what Jesus was all about, and hearing other people's testimonies and stories, I decided that I needed that in my life as well.
You came to Christ in the end.
I did. After making decision that that's what I needed, I said that pray the prayer that I need you in my life. I can't do this on my own. I know that I'm a sinner and I will sin, but I know and believe that you came down and died for me, so that way I can be cleansed of those things.
And then what impact has Christ had on your life after that?
Well, at first I was kind of, after finding it, kind of fell away a little bit a few times, kind of lost my way a little bit. More recently, I found my way back. I found my way back a few times, but more recently I found it back and to where God has me where he wants me and has his purpose fulfilling in my life now, to where I notice things are way completely different than they ever were, that I feel like I know Christ a lot more. I know what my purpose is. I know that his calling for me is now and what I'm doing.
So Lisa, could you share?
So my parents never forced me to do anything that I didn't want to do growing up. I chose to go to church with a friend when I was young, and that's when I first started to learn about Jesus. And then we moved away, and so I lost contact with her, and I just wasn't interested in going back to church until I had met a friend here in Idaho. She got me back interested in the church, and she is actually the one who got me saved. And if it wasn't for her, I would have never gotten saved. After I graduated high school, I backslid quite a bit. But I made my way back after me and Brandon met. We slowly started getting back in with, Jesus and figuring out our marriage and everything. And here more recently, we got back in line with Jesus and everything. And yeah.
So what impact has Christ made on your life?
That's a hard question, because there's so much. He's changed so much for me, from when I was a teenager to when I first met Brandon to now. A lot has become so different in our lives, in my life, and I'm gonna get emotional. I just know if it wasn't for God sending me Brandon, I'd probably be dead. I had some medical issues happen, and if it wasn't for Brandon getting me to the hospital in 2018, I probably would have died from a busted gallbladder.
So let's start that journey of dedication.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. It's getting better. I've had 2 things of cancer, ovarian cancer and thyroid cancer, and I'm diabetic on top of that. But my cancer's been in complete remission for a while now. Everything's looking good there. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about that.
When things get tough, you make it first.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you would like to make other people who are maybe thinking about this? What would you about that?
You know, at face value, 100% honest with you, you know, the Christian life is hard. You know, it's, you know, a lot of people want to think it's roses and rainbows, but it's not. But the truth of the matter is we have brethren and people to turn to help you along that pathway. You know, this pathway of life was designed for us not to do this on our own. There's many times that we want to do this on our own, thinking we can do it on our own, and the truth is you can't. There is no just you, even just as a couple. You know, the human flesh by ourselves cannot do it. Our human desires are greater and fall into the world, which the world can destroy you and everything. You know, without Jesus, you're going to fall into, you know, the drugs, the alcohol, the things of the world that, you know, are unbecoming to Christ and unbecoming as a person, you know, that to do the bad things that you shouldn't do. You know, a lot of things that society sees as normal and okay, you know, like drinking, you know, with friends and stuff like that. It's not. You know, there's much more to life than that. A lot of people think, well, I'm going to give up things, you know, turning into Christ. But the truth of the matter is when you realize you may think you're giving them up and they're bad things, there's like, oh, well, I'm ruining my life giving this up. But you realize you gain so much more out of the things that you're gaining from the knowledge and the love of Christ. Your caring for your fellow people is much larger. You know, your way of thinking changes on how you treat people, how you want to be treated, you know, how you want to, you know, be seen. You know, I don't want to be seen as, you know, this wild person. You know, I want to be seen as somebody who, you know, is decent and kind. And that's exactly, you know, what Jesus came here for us, is for us to be good people and to be disciples, to make disciples. You know, that's exactly, you know, it's strictly written in the Bible as a commandment. You need to go make disciples.
He said, what would you like people to?
Just trust. That's all you can do. Just trust. Yep.
I think that's, would you like to add anything else?
Yeah, the biggest thing, you know, when it comes to there is faith. You know, it's all based upon faith and knowing that there is a bigger purpose for us out there. You know, we're not just designed to come here, work, and pass away and go on. You know, the thing is to, you know, my legacy and my thing is when I'm gone is that I want to go to heaven and God say, you've done well, my good son. So I want people to know and understand that there's more than just what's at face value. There's a greater purpose for us. You know, it's to glorify Christ, you know, and bring others to know him. Because if we don't, you know, and we continue to be people that don't bring others to Christ, you know, there's a chance that it could wither away enough to where there's not enough people doing that. You know, we can't just expect to rely on pastors and stuff like that, because there are so many non-believers that get tired of quote unquote the Bible being shoved down our throat, you know, just from, you know, pastors and stuff like that. And telling a personal story is more powerful than trying to, you know, dig through the Bible and, you know, try to remember verses. It's so much harder to be transparent about something when you're trying to quote something quote for quote. It's a lot easier to tell, hey, this is my story, this is where I was, this is where I am, this is what Jesus can do, and this is what Jesus has done in my life, this is what he can do for you. And obviously you need to tell them some Bible verses too, but you need to tell them some things too to keep them interested, have them want to know more, not just leave it as an open and closed book, this is Christianity, and close it at that. It is not our job to help them grow. We are here to plant seeds. It's their choice whether they choose to come to Christ or not, but at least I can do is plant a seed. And that's what I was told to do. That's what making disciples is planting the seed.
Any last words?
I don't think I can top what he just said. He pretty much covered it all.
Yeah, but pretty much. Yes, you will. So.